Are you stuck in your career? Use this 4-step framework to move forward. I'm Beck McIntosh from Career Jam, and this channel is all about helping you navigate your professional career in the age of AI. Let's dive into this framework to get you unstuck. Mid-career professionals are struggling because they've reached the point where experience collides with uncertainty. You know too much to make naive decisions. You've already lived through restructures, layoffs, bad bosses, burnouts. So now you're stuck, not because you're lazy, but because your brain is trying to protect you. It's keeping you safe. And that's why one of the most useful career frameworks was built around how humans actually make career decisions, helping you understand the process. It's called the Career Diamond Model by Andersen and Vandehey. This framework helps you identify where you are and how to start moving again. The hidden problem with mid-career transitions is at 45, uncertainty feels expensive, and that changes everything because now every decision carries emotional weight. What if I retrain and fail? What if I stay and become obsolete? What if AI changes my industry completely? What if I'm too old to start over? What if I've already missed the window? Can my family afford me to move? Most people think career transitions fail because people lack motivation, and that's rarely the case. Professionals are often exhausted, overwhelmed, overthinking, financially pressured, and emotionally attached to old identities, quietly terrified of making the wrong move. The Career Diamond works because it helps you diagnose where you're stuck, not just that you are stuck. And for most people, the blockage happens in one of 4 places. So the first place to start is awareness. It's where you start feeling a little bit off. You may already have noticed the signs, and you might be asking questions like, I don't even know what's wrong anymore. This is where most people get trapped first, because awareness sounds simple until you realize how disconnected many professionals have become from themselves. And it's not about you anymore. You have families, partners, and relatives. You're personally responsible for them. And you're not top of the priority list anymore. Somewhere along the way, you've stopped checking whether your work still fits with who you are. So when you're at this awareness, you might ask yourself, are you feeling dread on a Sunday afternoon? Are you exhausted and holidays don't fix that? Is your boredom mixed with anxiety? Are you scrolling jobs boards? Are you saying that you should be grateful while quietly feeling numb? So this is the place to listen up, but many people miss these signs. Discomfort is a friction point, and it's a signal you send yourself to listen up. It's an early warning sign that starts as like a faint beep in the background, and it gets louder and louder if you don't do anything about it. So often people try to ignore the discomfort and they try to rush ahead straight to action. I need a new job. I need to retrain. I need to escape. But sometimes the issue isn't the entire career. Sometimes it's the environment, your values mismatch, the leadership or the culture, your lack of growth, or meaning, that you've lost a sense of meaning in your role. It could be you're really attached to your professional identity and you've forgotten who you are, or that you've burnt yourself out with discretionary effort and you're starting to feel resentful. Awareness asks uncomfortable questions. What parts of my work drain me disproportionately? What parts still energize me? Have I outgrown this version of myself? Am I burnt out or misaligned? Am I afraid of change or afraid of staying the same? And this stage feels frustrating because awareness rarely gives immediate answers. It just removes denial. It asks you to do the work and keep asking the why questions until you get to the core issues. At the top of the diamond is self. Do you know who you are? Not your title, not your salary, not your LinkedIn headline. You. And this is where mid-career transitions become emotional instead of purely professional, because many professionals built careers around competence, not alignment. You became the dependable one, the expert, the manager, the high performer. You've been tapped on the shoulder. You haven't had to interview for years. But where you are isn't actually where you wanted to be. And now that you've arrived, it doesn't feel right. And somewhere along the line, your identity fused with your role. So when the role stops fitting, it doesn't feel like a career problem. It actually feels like a part of yourself is changing, an existential crisis. That confusion is incredibly common because the self changes over time. Your values have evolved, your priorities have evolved, your tolerance has evolved, and life outside of work's evolved. You've succeeded at becoming a version of yourself that you no longer fully relate to. The goal here isn't instant clarity, it's reconnection, rebuilding awareness of your strengths, your motivations, your natural patterns, your values, and the type of life you actually want to work to support. Sometimes this is super hard. Your initial thinking can be quite fixed, and a gentle step into this is taking the time with close family, friends, colleagues, asking them to share what they see as your strengths. Sometimes you need that reminder, what you actually know inside. Now we move to the bottom of the diamond, and this is the world of work. This is where fear often spikes because we're hitting reality. You've got probably quite a low awareness of what the actual jobs market looks like. You even don't have the muscle built of, what interviews look like, what's the process, how do I step through this? I haven't updated my resume in about 5 to 10 years. What does that look like? So it's not only the awareness of the jobs market, it's the tasks and process awareness that you don't have because you haven't been actively applying for roles and you're not a recruiter. So understanding and learning about that and relearning that, because it's probably different from when you were last applying, is really key to being able to step forward in the process. And you kind of actually feel like a bit of a novice, like you're starting all over again, which is really hard as a professional. So this understanding that you have and you've really now got some clarity. It's a collision with the market, age anxiety, economic uncertainty, job ads asking for impossible experience, automation layoffs that you're seeing all over the place. You don't know where your skills fit anymore. You're asking yourself if you're too late to pivot. So your decisions are not made in a vacuum, and that market economy is very important. You know that. So your strengths and interests is actually intersecting with real world demand. And this stage is not about predicting the future perfectly. It's about understanding where human value is increasing and where value is being created in organizations that aligns with your skill set. And then bringing it all together, you've moved through this process of understanding. You've moved from awareness. You're understanding why you want to change. You've understood yourself at a deeper level. So you understand your motivations, but also what you have to offer. And then you're understanding the wider jobs landscape. What does it look like out there? Is it time for you to start that business? Is it time for you to make a change, to pivot your skills? Is it time to add some additional qualifications from what you need? Moving through those two parts of self and the external world of work and looking at how they intersect, you're starting to identify the opportunity areas, because what you have is very unique. You stand in a single place in the world. There's a great book from Nilofer Merchant on this loneliness concept, that each individual has carved out an entire unique place and space in the world. And I think thinking about that is really helpful. You should definitely grab a copy of the book. But essentially, you have carved out this unique space. You often feel when you're under pressure, when you're considering a move, that potentially that you don't have a lot to offer. But understanding and feeling confident about that unique space that you have, and then looking through the lens of the opportunity in the market, is to see then where can you best create and deliver value with the skill sets you have. And you move through this process into synthesizing all this information into a decision or a set of decisions. It might be a staged process. It's often never just a single action. It's a series of actionable steps that you need to take. Decision making. This is where many smart professionals freeze completely. So it's not because you don't lack options or because you don't understand consequences. People stay in research mode. They might get more qualifications, listen to some more podcasts, get a couple of diplomas. They overthink because they're smart. It's a classic case of analysis paralysis because uncertainty does feel safer than committing. This stage sounds like, what if I regret it? What if I lose stability? What if I fail publicly? What if I start over and discover I hate it? What if I make the wrong decision? How will that impact my family? And underneath all of that is usually one deeper fear. What if I can't trust myself? The career diamond model reframes the goal. It's not about making the perfect lifelong decision. The goal is about making the next intelligent, informed, and aligned step. Not forever, because clarity is rarely found through thinking alone. It's built through movement. You will create an infinity loop of diamonds throughout your career because this model teaches you the process of awareness, of understanding a deeper self, understanding the market, and then synthesizing that decision into your next steps. And this isn't a desktop process. This is an action model that works through testing. You need to explore, experiment. You need to adjust the path, get some feedback. Have a look at the diamond and see where you've landed. What stage are you at? And what's the journey forward look like for you? You don't need your entire future figured out before you move. Most professionals think clarity arrives first. That one day you'll wake up with the absolute certainty, a perfect 5-year plan, and complete confidence in every decision. As that famous quote goes, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. You have a rough plan, you're processing information about yourself, you're hitting the jobs market. You might get a slap in the face because you realize actually that's not going to work and that move is not going to be the best opportunity for you in the future. So you have to change, you have to adjust. Change is now a constant in your career, and clarity is built in motion.